There's a growing trend going around, and that is a trend of using cold therapy in order to improve your health. Now, there's many benefits of cold therapy, but the one specifically that we're going to talk about today is how you can actually use it in order to burn belly fat. We'll talk about the ways that you can utilize it and how you can implement this today, right in the comfort of your home. There's three main types of cold therapy. The first is going to be using a cold shower, an ice bath, or utilizing cryotherapy. Now, if you're not familiar with cryotherapy, you've probably seen it before at some point or another, and it's when somebody is standing in like a pod and they have gloves on and you see all the fog coming out because it's so cold within it. We'll get to all the details of these different styles and how you use them and how long you need to stay under the cold water in order to actually benefit from it. But first, let's take a look at the specifics as to how it can help you lose weight, because that's why you're here. We want to burn some belly fat. Summer's coming, and look, we're trying to look like in the absolute best shape that we can. And so, first of all, let's take a look at something called the hormetic effect, okay? When we utilize cold therapy, it activates this hormetic stress response on the body. To give you an example of a hormetic stress response, we could look to something like exercise or an infrared sauna or even intermittent fasting. It's something that puts a positive stressor on the body that actually makes us stronger. As we look at this stress response, we can say, okay, that's gonna help us burn fat, because one of the things it's going to do is it's going to stimulate brown fat. Now, brown fat is something that's very interesting. If you're not familiar with it, there's really two main types of fat on our body. We have the white fat, which is going to be the belly fat that you're very familiar with. That's why you're here. And then also there's the brown fat, and this brown fat is around our neck and shoulders. This brown fat gets its color because it's iron rich and very mitochondria dense. And when we burn this brown fat, it actually stimulates heat. When it stimulates heat, it essentially creates a thermogenic effect on the body, which helps us burn calories. And so this cold therapy that you're utilizing is going to help boost your metabolism. Let's take this a step further, because it also is going to improve insulin sensitivity. And we know that insulin is a fat blocking hormone in the way that it blocks fat burning. And so it's important to make sure that our insulin low and our blood sugar is low if we really want to burn fat. Now, this is something that's very fascinating. If you were to wear a continuous blood glucose monitor, one of those things that tells you instantaneously what your blood sugar is, essentially what you would find is if you were to get into a cold ice bath, you would find your blood sugar would drop rapidly, okay? Because your body is using that blood glucose up in order to go in and stay warm, right? So it uses it very quickly. And so this helps drive down our insulin levels. There was actually a study in 2015, a review of various studies that is, and it showed that brown fat burns calories and may help control blood sugar and improve insulin levels, decreasing your risk of type 2 diabetes. So we know that if we do this cold therapy, we'll stimulate that brown fat and we'll also decrease our insulin levels, which opens up the gateway for you to be able to burn fat effectively. Now let's look at another factor that this cold therapy is really going to push the fat burning in your body over. What we'll look to is the decrease in inflammation. There's many studies show that if you have a lot of inflammation in your body, essentially what happens is it can really throw off your metabolic hormones, right? Maybe insulin isn't working effectively because of the inflammation. And unfortunately, many of us do have a certain degree of inflammation in your body. So anything you can do to decrease the inflammation is going to help balance hormones more effectively and also help you lose weight. Now, these cold therapies are very, very positive at accomplishing this task. If you're someone who deals with an inflammatory disorder, maybe you even have like rheumatoid arthritis, something like that, cold therapy is great for it. It also is very good at reducing pain, okay? And I say that because some people go, well, how do I know if I have inflammation in the body? Well, a good way to know is if you're somebody who deals with a lot of joint pain and chronic spinal pain, that's a real good indicator. So decreasing inflammation can be achieved through the cold therapy. Now, the other reason that we'd want to use cold therapy is it's going to help with recovery, okay? And the reason I say that is because many of us who start exercising, let's say we're trying to lose weight, we start exercising, we get really sore, and then sometimes that can deter us from continuing on with the exercise. Well, it will help with the recovery from that exercise so that we can keep moving. And you know, part of the proper mindset of losing weight is just feeling good, right? If you've ever been in pain, sometimes that pain drives you to go eat more. It drives you to laze around a lot more. So anything we can do to decrease that inflammation and decrease pain and improve recovery is going to be positive on the fat loss front. Now, the next thing I want to look to is cortisol, okay? What the cold therapy has been shown to do is reduce cortisol. We talked about insulin being a hormone that blocks fat burning. Cortisol is the same way, okay? So utilizing this to decrease our cortisol levels is going to decrease our fat storage problem in the body. Now let's talk about quality of sleep. It's been shown to improve your quality of sleep. And I say this because many times, if we are in a position where we're not recovering well, and we're not recovering because we're not getting quality of sleep, then what's gonna happen is we just can't lose weight, right? If your body is in a stress pattern and cortisol is high and insulin is high and you're in a place where you have a lot of inflammation, you're just not going to be in a good fat burning state. So we want to make sure that we're recovering properly, and one of the ways that you do that is through good quality sleep so that we can actually be in a position to even burn fat. We have to also look at the different styles and how you can utilize them, okay? First of all, you can do a cold shower, and I mentioned this is something that you could literally get started with today in the comfort of your home. Now, the cold showers, basically, you're gonna wanna go in, you're gonna turn that water to a nice icy cold temperature, and you're gonna want to be under the water for about 5 to 20 minutes roughly. Now, the first couple times you do this, I will tell you that it's a little bit rough, okay? You may scream at a very high-pitched scream and will act like it didn't come from you, will act like it was somebody else in the house, but it will be something that'll be a little bit of a shock at first, but that's that hormetic stress response, right? That's that positive stress response that's gonna make us stronger. And so we can utilize it through the showers, 5 to 20 minutes, and then you can, of course, go to warm after that. You don't have to just do the cold shower and get out. You can turn it to warm after you have properly induced the stress response. Another way to do it, and this is actually how I like to do it, is you can basically just have a big old bath or a tank outside your house where you jump into a good old cold bath and essentially hang out in there for anywhere between usually 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And of course, it all depends on how cold it really is. I mean, I'm in a cold temperature state right now, and a lot of times when I go to do my cold bath, I have to break the ice off the top of it, so it's very cold. So for me to get a minute in, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's another way that you can do it. And then also another way that you can utilize this is by going to a cryotherapy place. This is a place of business where, like I said, you'll put some gloves on, you'll go into this chamber, and what they do is they decrease your skin temperature down to around -30 to -45 degrees. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how in the world is that even safe? Well, it's safe. They're making sure that it's all in a very controlled environment. You're only in it for a very short period of time, but you go in there, they drop that temperature down, and then you come back out. But the studies show time and time again that using cold therapy is highly beneficial. We specifically focused on the fat burning benefits that it has to offer, but it even has far more beyond that. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll really like this video next.